This is Palm Beach Live, Work, Play. I'm Tim Byrd, the Birdman, and we're back with Sheriff Bradshaw, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, with Up Close and Personal with Sheriff Bradshaw. Sheriff Bradshaw, first of all, congratulations on the election.
Thank you very much.
It was a huge win for you, and it made a real statement about how you've conducted yourself and PBSO for the last number of years as sheriff. And we'll take this moment to take a little bit of a retrospective of how 2012 went and maybe some of the goals for 2013. Good. I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And you know, the election itself is, I would like to think it's all about me, but it's really not. It's more about the agency and the men and women who work here. You know, if they're doing a good job, if the public's happy with the service that they give, if the communities feel safe, that translates into people thinking, well, the sheriff's doing a good job.
Right.
When you get 79% of the vote, that's huge. But it really is a statement about how the agency is working, how the satisfaction level in the community is. And I got to give the credit to the men and women who work here, because they're the ones that are out there every single day. So I think that's more of a statement saying, you know, you're doing a good job agency-wise more than it is the person.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
You have accomplished a lot this year. I know that pill mills were one topic that were causing problems. Gangs was another situation that was causing some problems. And you can probably tick off all the rest of the ones that I didn't mention. But we'll start with the pill mills first then. You've enjoyed success with that.
We've come a long way with that,
yeah.
and we're very satisfied with where we're at. But the problem is, you know, the bad guys have figured out another avenue to go to, which is the synthetic drugs. Mm-hmm. You saw that with synthetic marijuana. Yeah. The two places that were manufacturing it were nationwide distributors, and we took those out of the system. And then now they've developed a liquid that is an extract of some of the herbs that they get from Asia. So now we're going off after that particular thing. So that's a danger to the kids out here, because they don't understand the ramifications of it, and it's just as dangerous as the prescription drugs that were out here.
And that's also a form of the war on drugs.
Yeah, that's part of it. And what's happening is the DEA and the state has to catch up with putting these drugs on the schedule
yes.
of dangerous drugs,
right.
so we can go and do something about it.
Right.
On the gang end, you know, that's a work in progress all the time.
Right.
One of the latest convictions put the gang members behind bars for another 40 years. There's still more gangs out there to deal with, and that translates to the level of violence that's in the communities. And yes. Going back to 2012 in general, which is not over yet, it's been a violent year.
Yes.
Not only a violent year in some of the communities, but violence as far as the deputies concerned. Yesterday we had another deputy-involved shooting that involved a fight over a firearm that a bad guy actually drew on the deputy, and they struggled over the firearm, and to save their own lives, the deputies had to take the life of the individual,
right.
which is unfortunate. We never want to do that.
Yeah.
But we had a string of 4 shootings within 3 weeks. One of our deputies was shot in the hip, and of course the police dog was shot 2 times, and ended up saving the deputies' lives by attacking the bad guy. So, you know, it's a violent year all the way around. We're fortunate that we didn't have a deputy killed, but that's what's going on out there on the streets right now in society. It's and not only Palm Beach County. You see it across the
sure.
nation, with the shootings in the malls, at the movie theater. It's just a violent time in America in general. There's a lot of firearms out there. There's a lot of anger on people's parts. Sure. And we're dealing with a lot of people that are mentally unstable. It's an issue that law enforcement is addressing across the nation right now.
Right.
We end up having the mentally ill inflicted upon us when they should be in institutions,
yes.
and then we have to deal with them.
Yes. You know, it's the wrong people getting their hands, bad people getting their hands on guns, and those aren't the ones that go to the stores and buy them and register them and through all of the hoops. You know, and it seems like Washington wants to penalize people who want to protect themselves, you know, and not realizing the bad guys will get them no matter what.
Yeah,
you know,
and I'm you know, not against people owning firearms.
Yeah.
You know, the Constitution that's protected, and
yes.
rightfully so.
Yes.
But you know, in the wrong hands, they do bad things.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the mentally unbalanced people
yeah.
get their hands on firearms, and the outcome is not very good.
There probably needs to be some sort of legislation, I guess, for people that need to be institutionalized. You know, some sort of catch-all net that or a test that could pass. You know, people would have to pass before they're allowed to do that. You know,
the law enforcement in general across the nation is having to deal with more mentally ill people than they ever have before because the institutions are not taking care of them. We've got 300 plus right now in our mental ward up in the jail. You know, we're the biggest mental health provider right now in the county with as many people that we have in there, and it's expensive to treat them. And it's difficult to deal with them out here on the street. We try to train our deputies in what they call CIT, which is critical incident training, to try to deal with these people out there on the street and de-escalate.
Right.
But there's some situations they get into that happen so fast, they just don't have time to slow the situation down and get some of the people involved in it because it happens so rapidly that the outcome ends up being not so good too many times.
Well, now we've covered some of those negative things that are always going to be popping up, and issues that you deal with that are tough issues as a sheriff. When you say the agency has improved, it also has grown, has it not? Because of the towns that are utilizing PBSO for their own township protection.
Yeah. And that's we've done very good in the cities that we've absorbed their agencies. Most of them have had a crime reduction. We point to Lake Worth more than any of them because that was a very violent gang that we took out of there.
Right.
But that's been a very good project for us in a lot of the communities, is to try to stabilize them once we got in there. The Glades is working very well, and that was a difficult situation to start with.
Yes.
So, you know, in that way the agency's grown. We haven't been able to add deputies because of budget problems, which has put a little burden because we're doing more calls for service with the same amount of deputies that we had, you know, 5 years ago. So that is going to become an issue in subsequent years down the road here with our budget.
I know that with technology, there's even more work and more pressure put on the current number of deputies that you have with computers and cars and judgment calls. There's just, you know, the weight of the world on that one person in that vehicle.
Yeah, there's a lot to deal with out there. Fortunately, our technology has grown to keep up with the pace of what's needed out here for the deputies to operate.
Right.
They do have the state-of-the-art computers in their cars. They have the radio system is as good as you can get out here. So that way, you know, we're able to give better service to the people in the communities through the use of technology. You know, our license tag readers allow the deputies to understand who's in the vehicle by checking the registration automatically for them. So there's a lot of good things happening with technology. But the goal of technology is to make them more efficient so they don't spend so much time on the administrative side and more time patrolling and being proactive in the neighborhoods.
Right. We're almost out of time for this episode, but I know that there is you're involved with the Homeland Security office, and there's a new program that you wanted to tell me about.
Yeah, it's called See Something, Say Something, and what it is, we're trying to get people in the community to call us, to talk to us. We've got two programs, one for businesses, one for citizens, and it's called Citizens Against Terrorism and Businesses Against Terrorism. And it gives the people an avenue to talk to us and call us and let us know that they saw something that's not right. I mean, all of us at one point in time have been out here and seen something that says, you know what, I don't think that looks right, and I got a bad feeling about it. And more times than not, your feelings are correct. What we want to do is we want to hear from people to say, you know what, I saw somebody doing something, and you know, I think you guys need to look at it.
Sure. And if it doesn't pass the smell test, or your gut feel tells you, that's usually what you should follow.
Yeah, because the face of terrorism has changed. You know, it's not the Al-Qaeda, it's not the Middle East people that we think are coming here to hurt us. These are what we call the lone wolves or the stray dogs. These are people that walk into the movie theater and kill 20 people, or go to the shopping mall because they've got anger issues and they just want to cause destruction in the name of some other cause. And these people are not easily identifiable. But people in the neighborhoods, they know how they know who they are, because they're not acting right, and that's who we want to hear about.
And the economy also is not where it should be too, which causes stress and duress.
Yeah, there's just a lot of factors that are going into the equation right now. But the more we hear from people, the more we like it.
Congratulations, real quick, and we're not trying to cut you short, and you'll do some on our next episode too. A couple of the big things that you're shooting for as far as goals in 2013.
Obviously, our number one thing is violent crime in the neighborhood. So
Right.
we're gonna keep on, putting the pressure on the gangs and take as many of them out of here. Synthetic drugs, that's keeping the community safe to keep the overdoses down.
Sure.
And then a lot of the things we're going to concentrate on the other side is fraud, food stamp fraud, counterfeit cigarettes, those type of frauds that are hurting the economy, not only in the state of Florida and Palm Beach County, but across the nation. There's a lot of that fraud going on, and it seems insignificant sometimes, but in the larger picture, it's something that we're going to take a look at.
Again, Sheriff Bradshaw, congratulations on the election. You got your work cut out for you.
There's always enough business for us.
Yes, we wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your good work up until now.
Thank you.
I'm Tim Byrd. That's this edition of Up Close and Personal with Sheriff Rick Bradshaw on Palm Beach Live, Work, Play. Be sure and check back because we'll have a fresh episode soon.